I'm Dan Drake. This is Front Up on Visitor Network TV, and our guest today is MarshaEgan. Marsha, welcome.
Thank you.
Marsha brings, I think, a little bit of a different slant to the program and the people we've been talking to. Okay. You've had a long time connection with Nantucket, obviously.
I married it.
You married it.
Well, I married that connection, right?
But I've only, within the last year or so, moved here full time.
Yes, it was 2 years, just a few weeks ago. We had our anniversary.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Anyway,
I think one of the interesting things about your story is that you had a thriving business off island, and you moved it pretty much lock, stock, and barrel to Nantucket. And
yes,
it's a two-pronged business, right? It's a coaching of people in interpersonal skills. I probably could use them myself.
I don't know about that, Dan.
and then it's also organizing yourself and managing yourself. And you did have written a book called Inbox Detox, which addresses that part of the business. Let's talk a little bit about that first, and then come back to the coaching.
About the Inbox Detox?
Inbox Detox.
Well, actually, that was an offshoot of coaching. Mm-hmm. I got into the coaching world and coaching profession because I've always loved working with people who want to improve themselves. And as I was working in that realm, I realized that email was getting in the way of everybody's success and productivity because they were just kind of lassoed by email and not able to work on what was important. And it's a very long story, but I ended up on national TV, international TV, because Reuters did an article on me basically saying, are you an email addict? There's an executive coach from Pennsylvania with a 12-step program. I came up with kind of a fun 12-step program, and that's what's in the book. And
have you expanded that to include the other social media besides email?
A little bit. It's the same thing. It's all about managing yourself. A lot of times people let these inanimate objects manage them. The BlackBerry, there you go. That's exactly right.
Here tweeting and
and
texting and whatever.
Exactly. And when that goes off, for some reason people think it's more important than the really big conversation they're having with their boss or their best client or whatever. So
or
a lot
of
of
family
or their family, whatever's important, it takes over, and that's what that's about. It's kind of detoxing the electronic part of your life, and it's fun. It's a fun book. It has the 20 toxic emailers in there, like double checking Dilly, who sends you an email and then calls you 5 minutes later to say, did you get my email? And so it's kind of a lighthearted.
There's less of that than there used to be, I think, but it still happens.
I know.
Happens.
But that was an offshoot of my coaching work. I do coaching individually with people, and I also do a lot of workshops, and I do keynote speaking, all on the topic of self-improvement, leadership, self-management. It's all the people side of business. And so when my husband and I talked many years ago about the possibility of moving here, now I just have to backstep one step, and that is he was born and raised here. And
that's why you married Nantucket.
That's why I married it. And so for the last 27 years, we've been visiting Nantucket every year. We have all of our families here now. So we had never really talked about moving here permanently, but when it was first suggested, I said to myself, this coaching business and speaking business is mobile. And that really attracted me. And that's one of the reasons I developed the business, because most of my coaching is done by telephone. I am on the phone with people. Actually, this morning I was on the phone with somebody in Houston, Texas, working with them on building their career.
Do you do any of the group sessions electronically through using one of the many mediums that are available now, such as Skype or FaceTime or something?
I have the capability, but that hasn't been my business model. My business model has been working with individuals who want to improve themselves, and then working with groups. I've done quite a number of workshops for the Chamber in the last 2 years, and other businesses, once they're exposed to that, they've been bringing me in to do leadership trainings or productivity trainings and that kind of thing, which I was actually amazed that I would actually be able to develop business on this island. I had a mobile business. I thought that I could still travel to do my keynote speeches and workshops, coach by phone, but I didn't realize how much business is on the island itself.
How much, what percentage of your business would you say is here now?
Probably 30%. Believe it or not, I have a number of individual coaching clients here, and a number of organizations and businesses have hired me to come in and help them with either customer service initiatives, leadership initiatives, business relationship initiatives. One of the things that I didn't realize was we have so many small businesses on the island, and I've never billed myself as a trainer. I do workshops, I help people discover things in themselves, but there aren't many people who do that on the island. They send people off to the Cape or off to Boston.
Exactly.
It involves an overnight, it involves travel, and I'm here. I'm here. So it's a triple win, because instead of sending one person for the same cost, I can work with 5 people.
Exactly.
And I love it. I love not having to travel.
And traveling, as we all know, from this island is a bit of a challenge.
Well, that's exactly right. I have a business event in Atlanta in a few weeks, and even though I am not on until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm leaving the day before because I have to be there.
Right.
So it adds more time when I have to travel because we're here.
Right, exactly.
That's the cost of living in paradise.
Exactly. One thing that occurs to me is that there's sort of a logical another step potentially for you, which is strategic planning, helping with strategic planning. I don't know if you've done any of that, but sort of facilitating the process.
I have. I have done a little bit of that. I really, really enjoy it. And that is an area that some businesses need here.
And not-for-profits need a lot of.
Not-for-profits. I have done a lot of what they call board trainings, and actually that is, I don't want to say a significant piece of my business, but maybe 10 to 20% of my business has been going in and working with boards on how to work better together. What are the 7 attributes of a well-performing board? How to get them to think strategically versus are we having chicken or fish at the annual dinner? And they'll work on it. If somebody puts it out there, they have a tendency to work on it. And there are a lot of high-powered people on the boards here, and they don't want to be talking about chicken or fish.
Right. That's true. But they did end up talking about that. I remember a dean of a business school said to me, every faculty meeting ends up in a discussion of parking.
I've been there.
Same idea, right?
I've been there, done that. And the thing is, somebody brings it up, and the other people feel like they have to chime in because they really don't want fish at that dinner. But it is not a strategic use of their time.
Boards tend to micromanage if they're allowed to.
Oh, no. Do they?
Well,
yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And that's an interesting challenge for the leaders of many boards to overcome that, if they're so inclined, and some of them aren't.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And there's a difference, especially if there's a hired executive. I've always said those people are in charge of the management piece mostly, and the board is in charge of the strategy, which is the leadership piece. And they cross over. They have to cross over.
That's right.
But many times they do say that if the board gets into too much of the day-to-day, it could be a symptom that the paid staff isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Not always, but that's kind of a little red flag that can go off.
Yeah, absolutely, and particularly in a transition in an organization from one executive to another.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So anyway, MarshaEgan, thank you very much